kind of stuff that I take for granted and that just comes naturally to me is like life-changing to other people. That's something that I love about being in the fitness industry. It's like you genuinely can help change people's lives. Don't think you always notice how much you're growing and evolving. It's funny because before that used to freak me out.
I feel like we've got some work to do there. I'm probably not on this video. Hello everyone, welcome to another video. If you're new, my name is Joanna Wilson. I'm joined today by the beautiful Samantha Golding.
I love that I always get beautiful Samantha Golding. I'll take it.
Today we're going to be talking about running an online business, which Sammy is very experienced in. And we're going to hear your story on the online business that you run, things that you found, learned, etc, etc. Hopefully these guys can take a lot away from it. Before we do that, you have to introduce yourself. Which feels weird for us because we've just filmed another video where she also introduced herself. But this could be the first video that the people who's watching this ever have seen.
Yeah.
So you need to tell them who you are and where you come from. And
So my name is Sammy. I met Joanna 3 years ago through findafriend.com. Through online business, to be fair. I lived here in Five Eye for a year and a bit. I run my own online fitness business and I'm moving away to Australia.
Alright, running an online business then. Could you start by just explaining what your online business is, what you do, etc, etc?
Yeah, so my current business is called Sweat with Sam. It's an online fitness business. I do a lot of like group Zoom workouts. I've recently started doing some one-to-one coaching online. I only started it in lockdown, so it's, 3 years now, but still fairly new, still learning a lot. It's kind of, now's the first time really since lockdown times that I'm fully just doing my own stuff, which is quite cool.
So you started Sweat with Sam in lockdown.
Yeah.
Why?
It was actually accidental. So I was working for an event company, and then obviously when COVID hit, I got put on furlough, which meant that I was getting paid for my job but didn't have to work, essentially, for those of you that didn't know what furlough was. And then my gymnastics club, obviously everything was shut, so my gymnastics club needed people to kind of help keep the kids entertained, I guess, during lockdown. And I'd actually done my PT qualification the year before, at the end of the year, just more for me to learn more about fitness, because I'd kind of started wanting to go to the gym a bit more, understanding more about like why certain training was for certain things. So I just actually got my PT qualification. So then I'd offered to do some like fun workouts for the gymnasts during lockdown for free. Like I just wanted to help out a little bit because obviously it was my gymnastics club. And some of the parents messaged me like, do you do anything for adults? And I was like, sure, like why not? So then we started doing some stuff for like the adult gym. And then I kind of got to a point and I was like, well, I'm not doing any work because I was on furlough and I'm not the kind of person that can just sit around and do nothing. So I was like, well, I might start doing this for like my friends and family as well, because I really enjoyed doing it. I loved it. So then every Saturday I started doing a Sweat with Sam Saturday for free for anyone to join. And I ended up having like 50 or 60 people on some of those Saturdays, which just friends and family really, but was wild. And then I think it got to August and I'd been doing that for a few months, and then a few people was like, well, why don't you start trying to make some money out of this? I was doing it for free obviously for ages, and then my company was like, we're gonna have to let you go, because my company was a travel events industry, which just went down the toilet. So then I was like, right, well, I'm enjoying doing this. I could maybe start doing this as a job. So I started thinking about how I could start charging. I think I did a few where it was like people paid £5 to join. And then one of my best friends already was like a personal trainer and started doing the online stuff. And she started working with Joanna and was like, oh, I think that what I'm doing with Jay could help you with your business. And I was like, all right, cool.
I remember so well the first call that had you on it.
Really?
During lockdown, Luke and I dabbled with a lot of things, and it actually, I'm so grateful for it, because it actually was what then turned into the Wilsonator Club, which was like a group of nearly 200 people who were all doing like mindset, workouts, meditations, like self-development stuff together through the lockdown period. That was 2021 though, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was like
January 2021.
Second lockdown. So we basically started running like an online business which was related with nutrition and like was supporting people with that. And we worked with Mickey, Sammy's friend, and then I just remember, because me and Luke were doing these information calls like every day, like literally 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. every day we were doing these calls. I honestly, I just remember so well the first one, like you being on it and with your little notepad
and just smiling there.
And if anybody would have known at that point what the hell was about to happen, that's just so odd, isn't it?
It's so crazy.
But yeah, I think that, I mean, then we just got talking as well, and I think we talked a bit about your workouts and business and fitness, but you were smashing it.
I kind of had these ideas, I think, and I just needed someone to like
say, yeah, they're really good ideas,
and kind of like give me the little bit missing bits, because I never ran a business before, so I knew I was quite good at teaching the classes, and I knew that I kind of knew what I was talking about, because obviously from my years of gymnastics and going to the gym and stuff myself, I kind of knew that getting people moving in this way could work. It was just like figuring out the business side of it, which you and Luke were like my biggest cheerleaders, which was so good. And like the amazing thing was, like, you had no there was no, I wasn't paying them to do it. It was, we were working together, weren't we? And it was, I think that's why it just worked so well, because it was, I don't know,
authentic.
Very authentic. And I could tell that you guys genuinely wanted me. You could see potential in what I was doing, and I think we just clicked instantly straight away. We're bouncing ideas off each other and everything.
So fast forward 3 years, in a summary, sort of, where's your business gone and done and achieved and at?
The first 6 months of 2021 was amazing because, like you said, we were in the second lockdown. Fitness was a high priority for a lot of people. So I think the first 6 months of 2021 was my most successful time in my business, because I'd had the end of 2020 to kind of figure it all out. And biggest program I had in 2021, it was called Get Fit
6 Weeks for Freedom.
Like Get Fit for Freedom, I think it was called. And it was when Boris Johnson announced that we had 6 weeks left of lockdown. I think it was like 5 days before that I was planning this other program, and then just suddenly was like, oh my God, 6 weeks Fit for Freedom. And I just came up with this idea, and I swear to God, I probably slept for about 5 hours in those 4 days, because I just came up, I was like, right, 6 weeks for freedom, let's get everyone feeling sexy and ready to go back out again. And that one, I think I had like 90 people sign up for it. For me at the time, with my first program, bearing in mind I had 3 people, and one of them was my mum, and I was buzzing about that. So like for this one, a year later, to have that many people sign up was like ridiculous. But then obviously once the world started opening up again, online fitness kind of, people started dropping out because people were excited to go back to the gym, which I always knew was going to happen. So it was then trying to figure out, what the hell do I do now? So I did actually go back to my events job for 6 months-ish. It was the end of 2021, which I loved, and I'm really glad, because I never got the opportunity to do it properly before lockdown happened. So my business kind of took from the January of 2022. They wanted us to go back into the office. I think after working for yourself and having the flexibility and freedom, and obviously being around these guys who all run their own businesses and are like, being around Joanna made me be like, no, do you know what, I can still do my own thing, just have to adapt. So then last year we did a lot of traveling. So again, I just kind of dabbled here and there in bits and bobs. I do a lot of like social media for my gymnastics club. So I was and then I worked in a gym for a bit, kind of keeping my own business here, but just using other things to help like top up my income. But then I left my other job in September, and now I just do Sweat with Sam full time. And I love it because it gives me the freedom to travel around and go and move to Australia, which is my next plan with it.
Yeah. What has been the biggest challenge in running an online business?
It can sometimes be quite lonely. I don't really have many friends around me that do the same kind of thing as me, so I think you overthink things, and sometimes I'm like, oh, that's not good enough, or I struggle with an idea, or I got no one else to tell you what to do, or give you that little push that you need, necessarily keeping me accountable, or like pushing me to make the business better, because I get quite comfortable with it.
Yeah.
It can be all right.
What's your favourite thing about running an online business?
Like I said, the freedom and flexibility, I think. Like this morning, I do a group workout 4 times a week live on Zoom, and as long as I've got a bit of space to do it, so I've done it here, which meant I could spend an extra day in Leeds rather than having to go home really late last night. I like travelling, I like doing things. I'm not a sit at home and do nothing kind of person. So I think having an online business means you get that extra little freedom to do what else you want to do in your life, which is great.
Do you think that you will be in the industry of running your own online business forever?
I think so. Like I said, when I went back to my other job and having people say like, you've got to be here from this time to this time and you've got to do this, I was a bit like, no. I don't want to do that. I think it does make you realise you become a bit selfish, but in a good way. I like having other bits and bobs going on as well. I think like when I go to Australia, I do want to work in a gym as well, or work in a coffee shop, or just to have that social aspect of meeting other people.
What's next for Sweat with Sam then?
I'd love to like build my group community a bit bigger. It inspires me. I like that it's quite intimate and I feel like I get to know them all really well. So being able to keep it intimate but getting a few more people would be great. I always said that I prefer the group stuff as opposed to the one-to-one coaching, but after starting this one-to-one coaching, it is awesome. It's something that I've always wanted to do, run my own fitness event, and we did it in Portugal last weekend. When I say we, because this Wonder Woman
I was there.
was there and helped me so much with it all. But I would love to do more things like that, more kind of events.
Yeah.
Merging my two
Passions.
things that I love, together. Because event management was what I did at uni and obviously what that job was in, and I did love that, like the chaos and the trying to solve challenges.
I feel like the retreat was the perfect
Yeah.
example of that.
Well, especially I love travelling as well, so it's like everything I love. It didn't feel like work.
What advice would you give somebody who is either currently running an online business or thinking about starting an online business?
Figure out what it is you want to do. It's not going to be perfect when you start at all. You're going to make so many mistakes, but just keep consistent with it. Sometimes it feels like you're doing it to no one. So like I said, my first program I worked so hard on. I sold it to 3 people. And one of them was my mum. At that point, I could have just been like, well, there's no point. But like when I look back at some of the stuff that I've done then to what I've done now, don't think you always notice how much you're growing and evolving. We watched one of your old videos, didn't we, yesterday?
Oh, it was awful.
Everyone starts from somewhere, so it's like just start. Whether you've got to do it for free, it's gonna take a bit of time to get momentum. Like I said, I'm 3 years into mine now and I still feel like I'm only just starting.
Yeah.
But just take it day by day. Don't worry too much about numbers or whatever to start with. Make sure you enjoy what you're doing. Try and stay as consistent with it as you can, I guess.
Yeah. How exciting. I'm very proud of you for everything that you achieved
Thanks.
in the last 3 years.
It is crazy to look back on, isn't it? It's like,
Honestly, and even in the last year, I feel like last night we were having dinner and Joy was like, what does the next year look like for you? And I'm like, I don't have a fucking clue. Because if I think about where I was a year ago today versus where I am now, I'm like, who knows?
and you never would have thought that you'd get like
No,
you'd be where you are now.
exactly.
You just got to try and stay as flexible with it as possible, haven't you? And I am very lucky that I've got a very supportive family. I've been able to take risks with my business, quit any other job and go for my business, because I know not everyone can do that. Who knows where I'll be this time in a year?
Yeah.
I quite like that. It's funny because before that used to freak me out.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and thank you for telling your online business story.
Of course.
Speaking of Sammy's online business, she has got a fitness advent calendar. You've done it for the last 3 years?
Yeah.
Definitely check it out. It's got bigger and better every single year.
Yeah, I'm excited for it this year. It's
honestly,
my favourite one.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Fitness every day until Christmas.
Yeah. Keep you moving.
Keep you moving. That'll be at the top link in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. Keep smashing it. Remember, anything's possible. If you just work.
Bye. Adios.